Picture this: you're standing on a windy harbor wall, the air smells like salt and seaweed, and someone hands you a plate that could end friendships. On one side of the debate, Ireland, oysters so fresh they taste like the ocean whispered into your mouth, mussels steaming in cream, crab pulled straight from cold Atlantic water. On the other side, Scotland. Silky smoked salmon, sweet scallops that practically melt, haddock that's been perfected over generations, and seafood so prized it's shipped across the world. So here's the question that starts arguments in pubs and dinner tables: Ireland versus Scotland, who actually has the better seafood? But we're not doing the lazy answer. We're not doing "my country is best" pride. We're doing the real truth. Why one place wins for shellfish, why the other wins for cold water fish, and why most people judge this battle completely wrong. Because the twist is simple: better depends on what you order, where you eat it, and how close you are to the boat that caught it. Alright, let's settle this the fun way. First, we need to make the fight fair. When people say better seafood, they usually mean one of 5 things, even if they don't realize it. Freshness, variety, signature species, price and value, and finally, tradition, how a country actually cooks it and serves it. So we're judging Ireland and Scotland on all 5. And by the end, I'll give you a verdict that might annoy everyone equally, because it's based on what the sea actually provides, not what the tourism posters claim. Let's start with the ocean itself, because the ocean writes the menu. Ireland sits on the edge of the Atlantic, with big, wild waters, and just as important, lots of sheltered bays and inlets. Those calmer, protected places are a dream for shellfish. They create the conditions for oysters and mussels to grow with that clean, briny sweetness that seafood lovers obsess over. And because the coastline is so jagged and varied, different bays can produce different flavors, almost like wine regions. Scotland, meanwhile, is a cold-water powerhouse. You've got the North Sea, the Atlantic, and those colder temperatures that matter more than most people realize. Cold water tends to create fish with firmer texture and often richer fat content, especially species like salmon. And Scotland's seafood story isn't just what grows there. It's also what they've built a reputation for selling to the world. So before we even talk dishes, here's the first truth: Ireland's geography naturally sets it up to shine in shellfish. Scotland's geography sets it up to shine in cold-water fish and premium, export-level seafood. Now let's go country by country. When you think of Ireland and seafood, a lot of people picture one thing first: oysters. And that makes sense. Ireland's oyster culture is serious. In the right place, you're not just eating an oyster, you're tasting cold Atlantic water filtered through a living thing. The flavor can be clean, mineral, slightly sweet, sometimes intensely briny. And because oysters take on the character of the water they live in, Ireland's bays and estuaries can produce oysters that feel very alive in flavor. Then you've got mussels. Ireland does mussels in a way that feels almost unfair because they're so often served fresh, big, and cooked simply, steamed, maybe with garlic, cream, herbs, sometimes a hint of cider or stout. The point is, the mussel itself gets to be the star. And if you want something that people don't talk about enough, Ireland's crab and lobster can be incredible when you're near the coast. Not complicated. Not oversauced. Just sweet, clean meat pulled from cold water and treated with respect. This is what Ireland tends to do best: shellfish that tastes like it came from the sea 5 minutes ago. But now, Scotland. Scotland has a seafood identity that's almost like 2 worlds in one. On one side, you've got the famous export story, Scottish salmon, a global name. On the other side, you've got coastal cooking where the fish is treated like a craft. Let's talk salmon first. Scotland's salmon reputation is massive, and whether you're eating it grilled, cured, or smoked, the texture is often the selling point. Rich, silky, satisfying. And Scotland's smoked salmon tradition? That's not just a product, it's a whole food culture. Done right, smoked salmon is a lesson in restraint, smoke that enhances, not overwhelms. Then you've got scallops. Scottish scallops can be ridiculously good, sweet, tender, and best when cooked fast, hot, and simple. The kind of scallop that makes you stop talking mid-sentence. And Scotland also owns a certain kind of comfort seafood tradition. Think of soups and stews that feel like they were invented for grey weather. Think of smoked fish used as an ingredient, not just a side. There's a confidence to Scottish seafood cooking. We've been doing this forever, and we don't need to show off. So Scotland's strength is this: premium cold-water seafood with strong traditions. Especially salmon, scallops, and smoked fish. Now it's time to do the head-to-head battle the way it should be done, category by category. Because saying Ireland or Scotland has better seafood without categories is like saying which is better, music or movies. Let's draft the teams. Category 1, Oysters. If you're an oyster person, if you love that clean, ocean mineral bite, Ireland has a serious advantage. Ireland's bay culture, oyster farms, and coastal restaurants make oysters feel like a national specialty. Scotland has oysters too, and they can be fantastic, but if we're talking consistency and how central oysters are to the food identity, Ireland usually takes this round. Category 2, Salmon. This is Scotland's home turf. Ireland has salmon, of course, and you can eat amazing salmon there. But Scotland's salmon name is global, and their smoked salmon culture is on another level. If salmon is your favorite seafood, Scotland is often the safer bet. Category 3, Scallops. Scotland again. Cold waters and a strong reputation for scallops put Scotland in a powerful position here. Ireland has scallops too, and you can absolutely find great ones. But in the best of the best conversations, Scotland keeps showing up. Category 4, Mussels. Ireland is a monster in this category. Mussels in Ireland tend to be abundant, fresh, and served in ways that make them addictive. Scotland has great mussels as well, but if you're ordering a big bowl of mussels and judging based on pure satisfaction, Ireland usually wins. Category 5, Crab and Lobster. This one is closer. Both countries can deliver top-tier crab and lobster if you're eating in the right place. Here's the real truth: the winner is not the country, it's the distance from where it was caught. If you eat crab or lobster in a coastal town where it's landed daily, both Ireland and Scotland can blow your mind. So call this one a draw, with a warning: don't judge either country's lobster based on a tourist menu in a big city. Category 6, Smoked Seafood. Scotland, and it's not close. Scotland has built a whole identity around smoked fish, smoked salmon, smoked haddock, and the way smoke is used as part of traditional dishes. Ireland has smoked fish too, but Scotland's smoked seafood culture is deeper and more famous. Category 7, the best fish for fish and chip style comfort. This is where Scotland's haddock reputation often shines, but it depends. In both countries you can get amazing fried fish when it's fresh and properly cooked. But Scotland's connection to haddock and smoked haddock traditions gives it a strong edge in the broader, classic fish category. So if you're keeping score, it starts to look like this. Ireland tends to win the shellfish categories, especially oysters and mussels. Scotland tends to win the cold-water fish categories, especially salmon, scallops, and smoked. Now, let's zoom out and talk about something people forget: dishes and tradition. Ireland's seafood culture often shows up in the way seafood is made approachable. Chowders are a perfect example. Irish seafood chowder is comfort food with serious flavor when done right. It's creamy, rich, and packed with fish and shellfish. It feels like something you eat after being outside in the wind for too long. And then there's the Irish love for simple pairings that make the seafood pop. You'll see oysters served with a pint, mussels served with brown bread, crabs served with just enough seasoning to highlight sweetness. Ireland's seafood identity is often about letting fresh ingredients do the heavy lifting. Scotland's seafood traditions feel a little different. There's an emphasis on smoke, salt, and depth. One dish that proves this is Cullen skink, a thick soup made with smoked haddock. It's smoky, comforting, and deeply Scottish. It tastes like the weather outside, but in a good way. And Scotland's seafood cooking often feels like it has a sharper technique, especially in how fish is prepared and preserved. Curing, smoking, and using fish as a key ingredient in hearty meals is part of the culture. Now here's the part that might change how you think about the whole debate. Most people judge seafood by the wrong thing. They judge it by the fanciest restaurant, or by the prettiest photo, or by what a travel influencer said. But seafood isn't like steak. Seafood is brutally honest. If it's old, you'll know. If it's been handled badly, you'll know. If it's cooked too long, you'll know. So the number one factor in better seafood is not Ireland or Scotland. It's freshness and handling. If you eat seafood in a coastal town where it's landed that morning, you're playing the game on easy mode. If you eat seafood far from the coast, or in a place that doesn't specialize in it, you might end up thinking a whole country has bad seafood, when the real problem is that you ate seafood that traveled too long and sat too long. So let's make this practical. If you want to win the Ireland versus Scotland seafood battle as a traveler or a food lover, you need one simple rule. Eat seafood where it's landed, not where it's advertised. That's it. Coastal towns, small harbors, places with chalkboard specials, menus that change. Those are your signs. And now let's talk price and value, because this might surprise you too. Scotland seafood often carries a premium reputation, and sometimes a premium price, especially when you're talking about things like scallops and salmon. Part of that is demand. Some of these products are globally desired. When something is known as top tier, you're not just paying for the food, you're paying for the name. Ireland, depending on where you are and what's in season, can feel like a secret bargain, especially for shellfish. There are places where you can eat oysters and mussels in a way that feels almost too good for the price. But again, this is season and location dependent. The best value is always where supply is closest. Alright, so who actually wins? Here's the fairest verdict. If you love shellfish, oysters, mussels, crab, lobster, and you want that fresh, briny, taste the ocean experience, Ireland often feels unbeatable. Ireland's seafood magic is the bay. The shellfish. The simplicity. If you love cold water fish, salmon, scallops, smoked haddock, and you want that rich, firm texture and strong tradition, Scotland is often the better choice. Scotland's seafood magic is cold water, smoke, and technique. So the real answer is this. Ireland is the shellfish champion. Scotland is the cold water fish champion. And if you're asking, overall winner, I'll give you the only honest answer. The winner is the place where you're eating seafood that was caught closest to your plate. Now, before we end, let me give you a quick cheat code, how to order like a local so you don't get disappointed. First, ask a simple question, is this local today? If the answer is confident, you're in a good place. Second, look for a short menu and daily specials. Seafood menus that list 30 different fish options in the middle of nowhere, that's usually not a good sign. Third, don't overorder fancy. The best seafood is often cooked the simplest. Grilled, steamed, lightly fried, lightly smoked. If the menu is drowning everything in heavy sauces, it might be hiding mediocre seafood. And lastly, if you see oysters or mussels on the menu in a coastal place, that's usually a good bet. If you see scallops and smoked fish in a Scottish coastal place, that's usually a good bet. Now I want to hand the argument to you. If you had to choose right now, no fence sitting, what's your pick? Team Ireland with fresh oysters and mussels, or Team Scotland with smoked salmon and sweet scallops? Drop your answer in the comments, and tell me the best coastal town you've ever eaten seafood in, because I'm building a list. And if you want the next debate, tell me this. Should we do Ireland versus Scotland for breakfast, or Ireland versus Scotland for the best pub food? Either way, subscribe, because the next one might start an even bigger argument.